What is up, guys? Marcellus Williams, aka TheSwolefessor, here to educate you on health and fitness and social well-being. Today, guys, we're talking about how to break through plateaus.
I am the greatest.
Someone with power. Someone with power. Someone with dash. Someone with power.
Alright, guys, so the clip that you all just saw was an all-time squat PR from Friday of 445 pounds at a body weight of 162 pounds. Since posting that on Instagram, which you should be following me on if you're not, because I post a lot of stuff on there as well, guys, that I don't always necessarily get to on here, even though I try to keep it balanced. But anyway, ever since I posted that, I have literally gotten just bucket loads of messages about, hey, I've been stuck at a squat max of this for this, this many months, for a year or so. Like, how do I break through plateau? So I figured, you know what? I'm getting a lot of questions about it. Might as well make a video over it. So guys, before I get into, there's numerous reasons why you could be plateauing, but before I get into the three that I want to cover, let me just start by addressing two things. The first thing is, guys, a lot of you think you're plateauing, but you're not. And what I mean by that is, just because you've been stuck on the same weight for a little bit of time, like a couple weeks, almost 3 weeks, even a month, especially if you've been lifting for longer, you're not in your beginner phase anymore, does not by any means mean that you are hitting a plateau. If you're still gradually increasing reps, if you're able to squeeze 1 or 2 more reps than what you got last time with that weight, then you're still progressively overloading. You're still getting stronger. You have not necessarily hit a plateau. Like if your goal is 3 sets of 10, you've been stuck on like 200 pounds on a lift for a long time, but you start off with 3 sets of 5, and now you're at the point where you're getting 8, 5, 5. That's still progression, guys. So those of you who think you're plateauing may not necessarily be plateauing. And then the second thing, guys, is those of you who don't progressively overload at all, meaning you just come in and do the same weight over and over and over, you're not so much plateauing, you're not moving up at all. You're just being stagnant, and that's why that is happening. So now that we've addressed that, let's get into the 3 reasons why you are possibly hitting a plateau and what to do about each reason, guys. So reason number 1 that you're possibly hitting a plateau on a specific movement is that you are not using structured progressive overload. Mind you, I did not say that you're not progressively overloading at all, but you're not using structured progressive overload. And this is what I mean by that, guys. Like I've mentioned this time and time again, if your goal is like 3 sets of 10, 5 sets of 5, 3 sets of 3, whatever it is, your goal is to go in there and try to hit that. And every time you do, increase the weight, by the smallest possible load, or maybe 5 to 10 pounds, something like that. And that if you don't, then your goal should be to get at least 1 more rep than you did last time. The problem is a lot of you do what you think is auto-regulation, where you just go up on weight whenever you're feeling good. And that's not something you want to do, guys. You can't, if you've been doing 3 sets of 10 with 135 for months, and just every now and then you decide to try 140, and you're like, oh, this is heavy, doesn't feel good, and you go back down. Yes, you technically progressively overloaded, but you just dropped it back down. Progressive overload is something that needs to be consistent. You need to have some structure to it. You need to know that, hey, once I've hit this many sets and this many reps with this many weight, I am done with that weight. You need to move on and keep going. Yes, it's uncomfortable at first. That's the whole point. You're providing your body with a new stimulus to grow. That's why you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. But that's the reason why a lot of you are progressively overloading, because, a lot of you are hitting a plateau is because you only move up the weight whenever you just feel good that day. And that's only doing that once every few weeks or once every couple months isn't enough for your body to adapt and to get stronger and to grow. So that one's as simple as that, guys. Don't just randomly progressively overload. Structure it. Make sure you have a goal number with your sets and your reps, and when you hit that, increase the weight. You can't just go in there, hit whatever random number for however many random sets you want, then on whatever day you feel like it, just try to increase the weight and hope it goes well. It's just not smart, and it's not going to work that well. Reason number 2 why you may have hit a plateau is that you are not practicing the movement enough, guys. Remember, frequency is important, guys, not only to stimulate muscle growth, you want to hit the same muscle group every 48 hours, but also for strength. People seem to forget that lifting weights is a skill. There's motor learning involved in it, just like throwing a football or shooting a basketball. How many players do you know that have made it to like the top of their sport that only practice once a week? For example, if you've hit a plateau on squats And one of the first things I always ask somebody when they hit Plateau is like, okay, well, how often are you doing the movement? And they tell me once a week. Well, it's really hard, guys, to get stronger on a movement, to get better at a movement when you only practice it once a week. Oftentimes, it may not even necessarily be the strength of the muscles that's failing you. It's just getting the movement down, doing the movement consistently enough to where you're skilled at it, to where that way you can at least eliminate the factor that, okay, I know it's not my frequency is the problem, so let's look at other things. Frequency is important, guys, for having your nervous system adapt to a movement and for getting better at that movement, just like anything else. I don't know any NFL players, any basketball players in the NBA, or anybody, any high-end athlete that only practices their skill for their sport once a week. So the simple quick fix for that, guys, is just practice a movement more. If you're only squatting or benching or deadlifting, whatever you're doing, only once a week, increase the frequency. Perform the movement twice a week, 3 times a week, and see if that helps you get out of your plateau. Just because, let's say that you're doing like, 3 sets of 10 on the movement, but it's like you do it once and then you rest for a whole week, you come back and try to hit it again. Yeah, you're really fresh and you're recovered, but it's just harder for your body to adapt and to push forward with new weight because you're only doing the movement once a week. So quick fix for that, guys, is simply increase your frequency on a movement. And reason number 3 is sort of going to be the opposite of reason number 2. You may be doing too much at once. Keep in mind, guys, even if you go in and let's say you're doing a full body routine and you're only doing one exercise per muscle group. Let's say you're doing like, bench press for chest, squats for your legs, pull-ups for your back, something of that nature. That's fine. That's okay. But if you just keep adding in more and more movements to that day, or even if you're on a push-pull leg split, the point is no matter like whatever routine you're on, if you just keep adding more and more movements, more and more volume, you have to understand that's more you have to recover from. Now, anyone who's watched my videos already knows I do not bash high volume training. Not at all. What matters is how much volume can you recover from? Because even if you're going in with a great program, if you're just blasting your body, then you're not going to be able to recover from it. If you can't recover effectively, then you're not going to be as strong as you can be on any lift. And keep in mind, guys, even though, your bench works your chest and your squat, it works a little bit of everything, but primarily, let's say it works your legs, your nervous system is taxed by all of that. So even if you're working different muscle groups on different days, if you're just doing so much on each day to where, yeah, that muscle group gets to recover, but your nervous system doesn't, and keep in mind, a lot of movements, like the strength stems more from a peripheral nervous system, not necessarily just the muscle itself. It's a combination. So if you're too busy taxing one of those systems to where it can't recover, then you're probably going to hit a plateau. So it's as simple as that, guys. Make sure you're recovering. Make sure you're eating enough. Make sure you're getting enough sleep at night. Make sure you're not doing too much volume in your workout that you can't recover from. Because even if you're sleeping, 7-8 hours at night, even if you're in a caloric surplus, if you are just doing more volume than what your body can recover from, then it doesn't matter. If anything, all that eating and sleeping is just going to be to maintain your body so you don't break down. It's going to be hard to build yourself up stronger. So if you're doing too much, if you're doing too much volume, try just dialing it back a little bit and see what happens. That's what happened to me at one point when I was doing a lot of full body. Instead of, circulating through movements from time to time, whenever I found a new exercise, I just kept throwing it all in, boom, 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 boom. And before I knew it, I was stuck on a plateau on a few movements. I'll never forget, I was stuck at 300 on my bench. I was stuck at a 300 max for months for the longest because I was just doing so much. And then I had a friend who looked at my routine and just suggested, well, man, why don't you just kind of dial some of these movements back? So I took a few movements out, got the full body kind of back to normal, where, no more than like really 2 compounds per muscle group, maybe 3 on some of them. And max started going up again almost instantaneously. So sometimes, guys, it's not that you're not doing enough. Sometimes it's that you're doing too much. Yeah, so it's a quick recap. So first of all, like I said, if you're not progressively overloading at all, you can't really complain about hitting a plateau because you're not even really trying to get stronger. You're not really trying to grow. You're not giving your body a reason to. And as I also said, just because you're stuck on weight for a little bit doesn't mean you've necessarily hit a plateau. So long as you're progressing either through reps or weight, then you haven't really hit a plateau. You're still getting stronger. It just may be more gradual than what you like. But as for the 3 reasons, quick recap: structured progressive overload. Don't just go in doing the same weight over and over and over, hitting the same sets and reps, and then decide to just go up randomly and expect it to feel good. It's not going to. You have to consistently, progressively overload. Have a system of structure. Make sure you're tracking your sets and reps. If I hit this many reps on this many sets, then I move the weight up. Simple as that. Second thing, frequency. If you're only doing a movement once a week, guys, it's a lot harder to get stronger on it than if you're doing it 2 or 3 times a week. It's like any other skill. If you want to get better at it, you have to practice it. Simple as that. Third thing, you may be doing too much volume that you can't recover from. If you can't recover properly, you're not going to get stronger on a movement. You're not going to grow. Simple as that. So that's a quick recap, guys. Like I said, there's lots of reasons, that you could be hitting a plateau. Overtraining, guys, is a real thing. It's not as easy to do as a lot of people think, but it can be a real thing. Sometimes it could just be a lack of sleep. It could be something with your diet. There's different reasons, but these are just the 3 most general that I found. If you fix those, if you look at those 3, make sure they're all on point, you tend to break through whatever plateau you're dealing with. But anyway, guys, that is it for this video. I hope it helped a lot of you. I know it's gonna help some of you, but I hope it helped a lot of you, whether you asked me a question about hitting a plateau or not. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a comment down below letting me know that you did. If you didn't enjoy the video, leave a comment down below. Let me know why you didn't. Let me know what I can do, not do. There's nothing I can do about this, guys. I can't fix this. If this isn't what you like, if you don't like my voice, can't do anything about that. Anyway, like the video, share, subscribe. Keep it simple, specific, scientific. I'll catch y'all later.
I am the greatest.
Come on the color.